What is going on, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls? Welcome back to the channel. My name is Mark Roden, and today we are going to be going over the top 10 best engines that you can buy for less than $1,000. Now, I want to say, yes, this list is obviously for the people that are looking to swap a motor into their car, okay? But you can buy the engine for under $1,000 for sure. The problem is going to be all the extra parts that you're going to need to actually get the engine into your car. So you do not expect to actually be having any of these engines sitting in your car ready to go for less than $1,000, especially not if you don't know how to do it yourself either. If you have to like bring it to a shop and have somebody else install it, that's going to obviously cost a lot of money. So I just want to make that very clear. But also, guys, really quick, over 80% of you guys are not subscribed to the channel, so if you guys would please subscribe, I'd really appreciate it. It goes a long way. You don't have to if you don't want to, but if you want to, I'd really appreciate it. Either way though, let's get right into the list with number 10. All right, so coming in at number 10 is going to Honda's F20B. These things came in the late 90s Accords, and Accords don't really have the best rep for being like great to build, and that's because the F20B is not one of the best Honda motors to build, to be honest. But if you have a lightweight car and you just need something that can take a decent amount of power, a solid engine, then this is good. It's definitely one of the cheapest on this list by far. You could probably get a whole swap kit for your car for less than $1,000 for an F20B with the engine included in that sales price. And at the end of the day, it does come with VTEC. So it's like, you know, you got that VTEC. It's not going to feel like it only has 150 horsepower. It's going to feel like it's got a little bit more. Once again, it's a Honda motor. It's a turbocharged Honda motor, and you're making like 250 reliably all day long. And that's more than enough if the car's light enough. Coming in at number 9 is going to Nissans KA24DE. These motors are actually truck motors, and they put them in the Nissan 240SX, S13, and S14 over here in the United States. And obviously it came in some Toyota trucks that I do forget the name of, but definitely not the best engine out there for power. Why can't I think of that truck right now that it came? Either way, it doesn't really matter. Why did I say Toyota truck? Did I say Toyota truck? Nissan truck. It came in a Nissan truck, and it came in the 240SX. I don't know why I was mind-blown there. It's a very just well-rounded engine, though, especially for you drift boys. If you're a drift boy and you need a budget motor to build, since everybody just takes them out and they put in an SR, a KA is an amazing option. They can get around 350 to 500 horsepower reliably. I know it's a big difference, like a 150 horsepower difference, but it all just depends on the health of the motor. If you get a healthy enough KA, it can easily reach 500 horsepower. If it's a little bit more worn down, then you're looking at 350, but that's still, like I said, that's plenty for a car like a 240SX that's incredibly lightweight. Coming up to the number 8 spot is going to Audi's 2.7 liter twin turbo. This comes in the Audi S4 B5, and somehow they are very cheap despite being absolutely amazing for power. They are so good for power. They just love boost. They eat boost up like it's going out of freaking style. Give them another 2 turbos and you'll still be fine somehow. You can quad turbocharge this motor and it'll still eat it up. Obviously, the better option is just single turbo it, but either way, you could do that. Now, the reason why it is so cheap is because the motor actually is very unreliable and it's hard to maintain when you're adding power to it and adding boost to it. But once you find that like sweet spot, they are a great motor, and they're not that cheap to build for sure, but they're going to be a blast. If you just keep it at a relatively low-ish, like 400, 500 horsepower range, it'll be fine. You won't have to worry too much about reliability. But once you get anything higher than that, that's when it's an issue. Coming in at the wonderful number 7 spot is going to Toyota's 2JZ GE. I feel like you guys knew this motor was going to be on here somewhere. It's not the GTE that everybody knows and loves, but the GE is still sometimes under $1,000. And it comes in a lot of cars, like the Lexus GS300, the IS300, the SC300, and many more. Even the Mark IV Supra non-turbo actually came with the 2JZ GE, but they are all relatively the same motor pretty much. They can make around 500 horsepower without touching the internals. Obviously, it's nowhere near as good as the 2JZ GTE, but it's pretty much a more predictable and reliable KA24, but this one is an inline 6, so it's much easier to get power out of it. On top of that, there's so many parts for 2Js out there right now. You can just go to McDonald's, buy a Happy Meal, and they'll throw a 2JZ camshaft in your Happy Meal. It's ridiculous. So it's going to be cheap to build, reliable, decent power. Coming in at the wonderful number 6 spot is going to technically another Toyota motor, but it's Lexus's 1UZ FE. This one came in the bigger Lexuses, but the same body styles, like the LS400, the SC400, and the GS400, and it's incredibly slept on because there's no manual with the car. Okay, so because this engine was never paired with a manual transmission, nobody even knows the 1UZ is amazing. It's definitely going to be hard to manual swap it, and let's face it, you're going to want to manual swap it. But once you do manual swap it, it's an amazing platform. It's reliable as hell. It's a Japanese V8. It makes around 300 horsepower stock and can make a lot more horsepower. But I will say that there is one major downside to the 1UZ, and that is that there's not that much aftermarket support because it's not a very highly tuned engine, if that makes any sense. Not a lot of people modify the 1UZs. So because not a lot of people modify them, there's not a lot of parts out there for them. But once you find the parts, once you source the parts, once you get the engine, once you manual swap it, 1UZ is unbelievably good. Coming in at the number 5 spot, halfway down the list, is going to Ford's Coyote motor. This obviously came in all the 5.0 Mustang GTs from 2010 plus, but it was also in the Ford F-150s. I never knew that, but since everybody just puts an LS in their Mustang, the 5.0 Coyote motors are just cheap as hell now. They are not as good power-wise as an LS, just because they are far more expensive to build than an LS is, but they're still a good motor nonetheless. If they came in more cars, we would definitely hear about the Coyote more often than we do. But we just don't hear about it a lot. We don't hear about it a lot because there's not a lot of Coyote motors out there surfacing around to be put into things. The LS is just everywhere, so obviously everybody swaps it into things. All the Coyote really needs is a little bit more aftermarket support, and a Coyote motor would be like a top 3 contender all day, every day. But coming in at the number 4 spot is going to Nissans VQ35HR. Hear me out here. A lot of people are probably gonna be like, "Yeah, guys, talk about a trumpet." No, it's actually a pretty good motor, my friend, especially for under $1,000. It comes in the 350Z, the G35, and the FX35 SUV from Nissan and Infiniti. And despite what you hear, they are insanely good to build. Stay away from the DE, the VQ35DE, if you're looking for a reliable platform to make power on. The HR is way better. It helps with higher RPMs, and it can get around 600 horsepower without touching the internals. Yes, 600 horsepower. That's pretty crazy. It is ridiculously cheap too, since everybody hates on VQs for sounding bad, and a lot of people actually swap their 350Zs with LS motors all the time. So buy one before people realize that the VQ is a good motor, my bad, and you'll be all set. It's perfect for a budget drifter. If you got an S13 and you need a motor for it, I would highly recommend looking into a VQ35. Coming in at 3rd place is going to Volkswagen's VR6 motor. One of the best things to ever come from Volkswagen, period, is their VR6. It is amazing, and it actually came in a decent amount of their cars. It came in the Mark IV GTI, the Mark III GTI, the Corrado, and even the damn Passat actually got a VR6. So there's a bunch of options out there for a VR6 swap. They love power too, by the way. The any VR6 motor in general, not even just Volkswagens, but VR6 motors in general usually love power. But Volkswagen, oh my goodness, they just really nailed it with this one. Maybe one of the newer ones that I don't know much about, are a better motor than the VR6 is. But as of right now, I'm pretty sure the VR6 is the best motor Volkswagen's ever made. They can be unreliable at times, but since they're just so cheap, just pick up a healthy example and you'll be all right. Just pick up one with low miles, and it'll still be under $1,000. That's how good these VR6s are. They're freaking dirt cheap, man. But coming in at 2nd place is, of course, going to another Honda. You thought I was going to stop. You thought I was going to stop with the F20B. You're wrong. It's Honda's K24 at 2nd place. I mean, there is a reason, people, that you always hear about K-swaps and everything. Everybody K-swaps their car nowadays, and there's a reason for that. They came in a ridiculous amount of cars. It came in the Civics, the RSX, the TL, the damn CRV even got one, the TSX. There's so many freaking cars that came with a K24 in them, and they're just sitting around waiting to be picked up. Even though they are very popular, they're still ridiculously cheap because of the fact that there's so many out there, and they're extremely cheap to build as well, since they're a Honda, and you don't gotta worry about if it's gonna handle boost or if it's gonna be reliable or anything like that, because it's a Honda. Okay, K-Series Honda motor. They love boost, they love power, and they're gonna stay reliable and good on gas and cheap. It's amazing. That's why it's here at number 2. But of course, the best motor that you can buy for under $1,000 still in 2023 is going to the Chevy LS. You knew it was coming. They are still king for cheap engine swaps. They came in a ridiculous amount of things like Camaros, Corvettes, the Pontiac G8, even some vans and trucks got them. Like my uncle took a LS motor out of a GMC Vandura, and he bought it for $800 to put it in his Corvette. That's how cheap that. You just go to a junkyard, find an early 2000s Chevy, pull the motor, pay the guy $500, and you got yourself 300 horsepower out of the gate, and a motor with potential for 800 to 1000 horsepower without touching the internals. That's insane. that's there's nothing that even comes close to that. There's so much aftermarket support for the LS motors that are all relatively cheap too. It's also surprisingly reliable as hell, good on gas too for absolutely no reason. Best bet is the LS3, by the way. If you can find one of those, go with that one. But any LS motor is just absolutely amazing. But ladies and gentlemen, that is the end of today's video. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, please be sure to like, comment, and subscribe to the channel for more content like this. I think this video is probably going to be going up a little late tonight. It's right now, it's already 9:55 p.m. So most likely it probably will be going up pretty late. And the reason why, let me explain myself real quick, is I was trying to get a video planned for tomorrow and Friday because I'm not going to be here either of those days. So I was trying to make 3 videos in one day, and videos for my second channel, which, by the way, top of the description, if you like GTA Online content, you can go check that out. Videos for that too. It was a pain, so I'm sorry that this video is going to be a little bit late tonight, and I really also hope I didn't get anything wrong here, because once again I kind of rushed straight through this. I was just like, yeah, that motor's under $1,000, let's put it on there, and it's not my best quality, I will say that. I'll admit that right away. But either way though, I hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, please be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Das Vidania, and have a nice night.